this meeting to order. We do have a quorum of the commission present today. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, the minutes from the January 28th, 2025 meeting have been distributed. We have a quorum here tonight. Are there any corrections to the minutes? All right, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve, as written.
Do we have a second?
I second.
All right, thank you. It has been moved by Commissioner Barsky and seconded by Commissioner Foster that we approve the minutes as written from the January 28th, 2025 Cultural Arts Commission meeting. I will now call for a vote. Are we voting? Yes, we're voting on machine.
Yes.
It's not coming up with a total. I did. Did everybody vote? Yeah, did everybody push the screen on your speaker?
On your microphone.
The analog clock is coming up next.
Touch the screen on your microphone.
Yeah, Commissioner Gonzalez, you should have a vote
Yeah.
on the screen. Did you press the right button?
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The motion passes unanimously. Let's try round two. The minutes from the February 25th, 2025 meeting have been distributed to you. We have a quorum here tonight. Are there any corrections to the minutes? All right. Do I have a motion to approve?
I motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Foster and seconded by Commissioner Gonzalez that we approve the minutes as written from the February 25th, 2025 Cultural Arts Commission work session. I will now call for a vote. Please vote. All right, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, we have a special presentation tonight. Will Arcadia Theater please come forward?
Good evening to you all. My name is Randy Bantfield. I am the managing director of Arcadia Theater here in Alpharetta, and we have had a very exciting couple of months, and I just wanted to come and share that with you all so that you're aware of it as the Arts Commission, and you know what arts events are happening in the city. As you all probably know, Act One Theater is a community theater that has a 30-year history here in Alpharetta, performing shows at Alpharetta Presbyterian Church Theater. In the last several years, I was formerly on the board of Act One. I was president of the board for a little while, and I was the sitting managing director since 2022. Is that right? 2022. In the last several years, we have seen a lot of growth, which is surprising coming out of the pandemic, that we were seeing growth in theater space, because that was something not a lot of theaters were seeing. And as we continue to observe that growth, we recognize the reality of the fact that we really only have a limited opportunity to take advantage of the growth that was happening within Act One, because at some point we were going to outgrow the space at Alpharetta Presbyterian Church. Additionally, we have long desired to seek alternate sources of funding, that is through institutional donors and grants applications and whatnot. But for better or for worse, Act One I think it was for better, but the reality was that Act One is a faith-based organization, and most arts grant opportunities eliminate faith-based organizations from their list of candidates, and most institutional donors also don't consider faith-based organizations. So the solution that we ultimately came up with, we have spent several years now in conversation with Alpharetta Presbyterian Church about how to proceed, and the solution that we have arrived at is we're going to create a brand new theater. We currently have Arcadia Theater, that is a nonprofit Georgia corporation. We've applied for our 501c3 status through the IRS. We're waiting to hear back on that. They unfortunately don't do that very quickly. But we have now announced our first season, our 2025-2026 season, as Arcadia Theater. We have, like I indicated a moment ago, this is the result of multi-year conversation with a number of stakeholders, including the City of Alpharetta, the Department of Recreation, Culture, and Parks. I think I got that order wrong, I apologize. As well as conversations within stakeholders from Alpharetta Presbyterian Church. And one of the advantages to the solution that we landed on, which is creating a brand new organization, is that Act One Theater itself still gets to remain a drama ministry for Alpharetta Presbyterian Church. So Act One will still be in existence, but it will sort of change its core mission from being a public-facing community theater that is supported by members of the public at large to being an internal-facing drama ministry, which is really what it was founded to do in the first place in the early 90s. So we've now announced our season. What does that mean? It means that we have a lot of chances to grow, and we have a lot of chances to make a lot of mistakes. I am currently looking at Aurora Theater. I don't know if you all are familiar with Aurora and Lawrenceville, but in the 1990s, Aurora Theater was a small community theater, moving around every couple of years in downtown Lawrenceville. But they have taken that legacy and in 2021, as again, you're all probably aware, built a $45 million performing arts center in downtown Lawrenceville that's state-of-the-art and gorgeous. Now, I'm not here to tell you that's my mission to accomplish in the next year or two, but I am definitely putting my feet on that road to start walking down that road to ultimately get the conversation going in downtown Alpharetta about the need for a performing arts space. I know the Symphony has long been on that mission. It is my goal in the very not too distant future to sit down and have some coffee with the Symphony folks to see what we can do to work together. And so we're looking forward to that opportunity. We are grateful to the people who have contributed financially to Arcadia. That would include APC, which has made several very generous donations, and we currently have a matching program that APC is matching dollar for dollar any new donations up to $5,000, as well as our appreciation to Awesome Alpharetta, who has sponsored our first season with a $5,000 contribution. Just so you all know, our 2026 season, we're going to start out with Peter and the Starcatcher in September. We're going to do everybody's favorite musical, Annie, in December. We're going to do Neil Simon's Fools at the Alpharetta Arts Center in the Black Box Theater in February. We're going to do Agatha Christie's Murder on the Nile in March. We're doing Twelfth Night, Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, in Brook Street Park in April. And we're going to close the season doing Roger and Hammerstein's Cinderella in June. So we're very excited about the season. We've gotten a lot of very, very good feedback on our season, and we're looking forward to hopefully really sending out the message to the community that we're here, that we are continuing the 30-year legacy of Act One, but we're doing it in a slightly different way, and hopefully we can alter the face of the arts community in Alpharetta.
Thank you, Randy. Do any of the commissioners have questions for Mr. Banfield?
I do.
Yes, Commissioner Smith.
Hi, Thank you for sharing all that. That was wonderful. A couple questions, but the first one really, you got my attention when you said you've had growth, which is amazing because I know how some of these organizations haven't. So could you talk a little bit more about that? Like, who are you seeing coming? What do you attribute it to, the growth?
So I think it comes from a couple of different places. I think first of all, being situated. And a lot of this is luck, and I will take credit for some of it as well. But what we found sort of in that post-pandemic growth is that we were engaging with a lot of very talented artists. That would include actors who came to Atlanta or have come to Atlanta because of the film community. That would include artists who were in college, but then really had nowhere to go once they graduated from college. And so we had a sort of influx to the community of a lot of really talented artists. We were able to capitalize that in order to, by structuring our show. I've long said what Act One has done for the last several years is it has a really big musical in the summer, a really big musical in the Christmas time, and that sort of pays for our season. So that allows us to do some artistically important work. But what we have found is that more so, I think, than in prior years, people were paying attention to what Act One was doing as an organization. So it's not that they were going, oh, I really want to go see She Loves Me. That's such a great musical. They would go see She Loves Me and go, oh, well, Act One is doing all this other great stuff as well, and they would then continue. I think that having that influx of people obviously brings in new patrons as well. You get parents and friends and grandparents and children and people who love artists who want to support what artists are doing. And so I think that a combination of just dumb luck, a combination of planning seasons, and then finally having a broad open door policy, inviting as many people in as possible. We really strive not to be an organization that just works with the same people over and over and over again. We really like to keep things fresh and do things in new ways, and then obviously learn from those as we go.
I think Louis.
I'm sorry. No, there are several organizations in town also that identify that need in the city. The city is growing. Have you, you mentioned the symphony. You've been trying to work with them also to see what synergies can develop. Are there more organizations that you've tried to approach with?
So the only other organization that I am familiar with that is in Alpharetta is it Metro Ballet? There's a dance studio that does a lot of performing. And there are several arts organizations, privately owned arts organizations, primarily that work with children. And what I have seen in a lot of other communities that have built performing arts spaces, the current one that I'm following most closely is the one in Sugar Hill, the Eagle Theater. If it's probably worth just going to see one of their events there just to see the facility. It's, again, brand new, state-of-the-art. It only holds about 400 people. But what it's kind of bread and butter in terms of what it does is that it rents itself out for third parties to come in and utilize that performing arts space. But they do have an in-house community theater program. If Sugar Hill had a symphony, they would probably use it for that as well. Because we have those opportunities to fill the performing arts space, which, again, we're now in the process of working with the city of Alpharetta to see what we can do with the Spotlight in terms of keeping that an active performing arts space. So if nothing else, we can show the community that there is a demand for performing arts. And I think that's pretty self-apparent at this point. You know, the city of Cumming, the county of Forsyth just built the $25 million focal center a couple of years ago. And they're selling literally thousands of tickets for every show they produce there. So there is that demand in the community, and I think it's just a matter of helping people see it. And it's clearly not going to be an endeavor that the city of Alpharetta will pay for all on its own, but it will definitely be a challenge to bring all the stakeholders together, public-private partnerships, in order to get enough people at the table to make something like that happen. I understand it's going to take us a long time to do it, but I think that as long as we now are sort of setting that goal for ourselves, that in the coming 5, 6, 10 years, I think it can really become a reality.
Yeah, I'll add on a little bit to that with my background with theater in Alpharetta and as a longtime resident of Alpharetta. Part of that growth just comes from the growth in Alpharetta.
Right.
And this is a very intelligent community, a very artistically inclined community. And so I think we've seen with our work with the Strategic Master Arts Plan that we're heading down that road and the demand is going to continue to increase. Any other questions?
So, I do, and I apologize if this has already been said. This is actually for Kim. Kim, do you mind? It has to do with what was happening with North Point Mall and the space in North Point Mall that was going to be a theater. Is that happening?
I was going to give an update today.
Okay.
On the staff report, so definitely.
there.
Yes, it's happening. And since I'm here, I was actually going to step up. I wanted to add that Arcadia Theater, when they actually have their nonprofit status confirmed, that they will be replacing, it's the same. They've been here, but it's replacing Act One name. Act One is still here, but they'll be one of our art leader groups. So you'll start seeing that. And then also, if you don't mind, can I share about the church, Alpharetta Presbyterian Church, a generous, grateful offer that they're doing is they're going to still maintain and make all the props and all the theater clothing and all that available to the theater groups. And so we have an MOU with the church that we'll be renewing, and they have space in Crabapple Municipal Building. And so that's going to continue, but it's going to open up to several theater groups. So thank you. And thank you.
Sure.
One more thing to add, and this is the danger of coming up and talking without notes. I'm usually pretty good at it. But speaking of the Spotlight, we are currently have a contract signed with the city to use the Spotlight in June for a 2-week summer camp. One thing that Act One has had a desire to do for a while, but a lot of the hurdles were a little overwhelming, was to start an educational theater program for youth. There's a huge demand for it, and I think that there's a lot of synergy between what we do and what we could do in that educational space. And so we're very excited to see what happens with that summer camp and to develop additional programs in the fall and in the following spring.
Commissioner Foster, you had a question?
Yes, I wanted to know if you, do you have enough funding to meet your target date? And are you continuing to look for funding for this project?
So as any good nonprofit, we are always continuing to look for funding. That being said, the funding that we have to date has allowed us to pay. One of the challenges with producing theater is that you have to acquire a license to do, before you announce a show. And those licenses, depending on whether they're musicals or straight plays and whatnot, can range from $1,200 to $5,000. And so we've had an adequate amount of funding that we could pay for those licensing fees. A lot of the operating expenses that we're looking at, insurance coverages and things like that, we have been able to adequately cover. That being said, love a little bit more of a backstop, a little extra savings in the account. And the other challenge with theater is that when you prepay all of this, you don't actually start recouping any of that until you start selling tickets. And so our next show's in September, and so ticket sales are probably not going to even pick up in any sort of noticeable way until August. So, but yes, we're looking for funding.
Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you. We certainly wish Arcadia all the best and much success and appreciate having new kids on the block.
Indeed, and I appreciate the time that you all have allowed me to be here tonight. Thank you.
All right, then we'll move on to new business. We have a public art application from Activate Games mural at the terraces at Windward Parkway. Please feel free to step up. Make sure to introduce yourselves.
Good evening. I am Greg Cato. I am with Seelig Enterprises. I am the VP of Design and Construction. We are the owners of the terraces at Windward at 3070 Windward Parkway.
And I'm Tana Cow, Director of Marketing and Placemaking at Seelig Enterprises.
We have images?
You can scroll down wherever you want to be. This is the full, this is just the summary here, the agenda report, and you just scroll down to where you need to go.
Gotcha, thank you. Let's see. You wanna go, you want to present or?
All right, tonight we are going to present a mural that we have selected for terraces at Windward Parkway. For the Activate Games space, we narrowed it down to Margot Perkins from several artists. Her work, she has a very signature style, as you can see here. It's a mix of delicate florals that are very impactful, some that are a little bit more abstract. The piece will be on the corner of Activate Games, so above, go ahead.
Correct you. So the mural is a part of, Activate Games is actually in a freestanding building. It's an out partial to our building that we also own. The former CVS, if you guys are familiar with the property. As part of Activate Games, they had to get a change of use permit because they're going from a retail space to an entertainment use. And as part of that permit, the commission asked or required to get that change of use that we put a mural on the property. So the mural's not actually on the Activate Games space. It's on the west facade of the shopping center.
So a little background there. There's a very high vantage point, so it can be enjoyed from about 850 passersby per day. And there's multiple angles. So,
I'm not sure if those are, whoops.
You need the revised version.
Yeah, do you have it? Okay.
You can continue to talk about it. Okay.
So Margot Perkins was born in Tennessee. She has a lot of pieces, artwork in Atlanta. There's Krog, Sugar Hill, but in Alpharetta, there is no representation, and I think she'd make an excellent addition to sort of the story map or the arts that you guys have curated for the city. If you want to go to the...
That's 4 images.
That's it, okay. So the middle one, I think you can see more of the vantage point.
And this mural is approximately 20 feet by 20 feet.
Did you have any questions?
Well, we need a motion first. Do we have a motion?
Can I ask a question?
Normally, we open the floor for discussion after the motion. Am I correct? So we need a motion on the floor, and then we can discuss and vote accordingly. And just a motion to approve or any of these. And making a motion does not mean we have to vote that way.
I motion to approve the Active Games mural at the terraces of Windward Parkway based on the conversations we have.
Okay, is there a second?
I second that, based on the conversations we have.
Okay. All right, the motion is now on the floor for discussion. Please ask for recognition prior to addressing.
May I?
Commissioner Barsky?
Do you have a rendering or something of what you're going to do to the CVS building?
I'm not with us this evening, no.
So one of our concerns is, or one of my concerns is that the building is really ugly and dated.
Right.
And so you're going to put some splashy bit of color on one portion of the building.
Mhm.
And it may look out of place. I think it's the right thing to do, for sure. I
Right.
love it, but I think it's going to look odd. I don't know, are you going to tie the mural back into the existing CVS space somehow, graphically?
We don't currently have plans. Activate Games is going to do something to their facade, but we're not sure yet what they're planning to do. That'll have to come through C-League to approve at some point.
Yeah, Commissioner Gonzalez.
What was the motivation to do it right there on top of the dumpsters?
So this is really the only blank wall we have at the shopping center. There's really no other area any of, so this is the west facade. On the northeast and south facade, there's just, quite frankly, there's really no place to put a mural of any substantial size.
The lighting, I noticed there's a lamp there. It's going to be removed, or how you're going to promote this work? Is there?
I mean, there's site lighting, there's parking lot lights as well.
But
Those
nothing
lights on the building.
Highlighting this particular spotlight or anything?
We don't currently have plans to add any additional lighting. That's certainly something we could consider, though.
Is there another way that this art can be maybe put on another wall, and maybe the artist can integrate the windows into it or something else? Because that just brings more attention to that area.
Right. So the challenge is we have to be a little bit sensitive to our tenants. They may not want to us, this is the ideal location because it's kind of a neutral area. Once we start wrapping around the windows of our tenants, it may not be something that they necessarily would want based on whatever their use is or their business.
I agree that the balance is a little bit off because it's on that side, and traffic going on windward, they're going to see it, but it's not a theme, it's not around the building, it's not connecting to anything. I'm wondering if there's a way to.
So my response to that would be is we've got other properties where we have murals, and to us they're more impactful if they stand out by themselves versus trying to blend in with the entire shopping center, the entire development. I think they would kind of lose some of their impact.
A lot of it too is the visibility of the vantage point. It's really for people that are driving. So it's not, we purposefully chose not to go with a signature word or for someone to stand, you see those interactive murals. So this can be enjoyed from a pretty good distance. And it wraps around. So it's a nice pop of, surprise and delight is what we call it.
Commissioner Smeal?
Yes, Commissioner, thank you. Yeah, I think I agree with what the commissioners are saying. I think part of it has to do with what's below it, and don't you control what's below it? It looks, as...
We can certainly paint, you're talking up here about the dumpsters?
Exactly.
We can certainly paint those, the gates on there. Potentially even, I guess, so those dumpster enclosures are brick, potentially paint those if y'all feel that would be more impactful. But they're dumpster enclosures, so I'm not necessarily sure I'd want to highlight them, but it's certainly something we could.
Well, I guess my point is you're highlighting them by having this very vibrant thing on top, and then you have this dumpster underneath. Well, it doesn't really happen. At least we're not seeing that. So,
what is the general idea? Just to enhance the property? Is that the idea?
Yeah, just add a little splash of color.
Yeah.
Are you the management company or are you the owner?
We own it, we lease it, we manage it.
So, Activate Games has requested this, is that?
So again, this was a requirement by the city in order for Activate Games to get their permit.
And what does Activate Games do?
So they're a gaming experience, not like arcade games. It's digital, I don't know how to explain it, to be honest. I don't know of any other experience like it. They have digital experiences where you're in them as part of the game.
It's like VR.
VR, laser
Yeah,
tag.
there's one in Atlanta.
They have a location, they have a couple locations in Georgia. I know they're about to open one in Buckhead. Actually, I think maybe their second location in Georgia.
So which space are they leasing?
So they're actually in the out parcel, which is the CBS building.
Mm-hmm.
If you're, CBS has been there for 20 years,
Yeah.
and they vacated last year.
So they think
it's a
that this is
freestanding
going to
building.
attract customers?
I'm
Is that
sorry?
the idea, that this is going to attract customers or pull them in? or-
Again, this was a request by the city that we had this mural.
Oh.
That only because they're changing their use, and I guess the city's trying to get more art throughout the city.
Okay,
So it
I
wasn't
see.
necessarily Activate Games
okay.
requesting this mural. It's more of it's actually the city's requested it.
Kim, could you come up and address what the city might be thinking? Because, I mean, we love the mural, the placement. I'm
Yeah.
not understanding what the point of the city was.
They have a condition, they're trying to get more art, like that was mentioned on throughout the city. So as the growth and Activate Games is coming into the space, they gave a condition that they create some type of art piece. And so they created the mural piece on the area of the building that was the widest part that didn't have awnings and windows, and something that didn't really, I know it seems strange above the dumpsters, but you can't really do it above somebody's door, because what if they are an Italian restaurant or they're another business that may not represent who they are? So that area kind of worked out. We discussed it in the public art review with the dumpsters being below, and the one thing that was suggested is maybe paint them burgundy or blend the doors into the brick, kind of just blend it in the same color so they're not a lighter color.
Well, I mean, why can't they just kind of like be little baskets that the flowers are coming out of? Like maybe integrate some graphics in it so from a distance it doesn't even look like a dumpster.
They didn't discuss that direction. It was really, they had emphasized that it did lift your eye upward and sort of away from the dumpsters. I know you just brought that up a second ago, but that was what was discussed in the public art review committee, with the committee. So, and then also by being high, you would see it driving in. And then also in the view that he has, that they have here from windward, you get just a little bit of a pop, so you see that. And they've started some of this, I've seen a little bit around different cities where they're taking, areas like this, complexes, to kind of, you say it's an older area, but it freshens it up. It kind of freshens it up to put a more, contemporary and modern mural in it. Even though the building may not be a new design, it feels a little newer because it has a new mural on it.
Can you speak a little bit to the maintenance?
Yes, he does have, let's see. See if I can get to where excuse me, I've lost my spot where I'm at right here. Is this the? Sorry, I don't have the pages. There it is. Okay.
Scroll a little bit. Top of that. So it'll have a clear coat on top of it, which will help maintain it, keep it from fading, keep it from peeling. And then if it fades over years, or there's really, again, we've done murals on other properties, and really not much maintenance, especially when they're on a wall where they can't be touched. We've done murals where people can do their Instagram moments in front of them. Those require a lot of maintenance because they get worn out just from use, from people touching them or standing next to them, whatever. But because this one's so high, and it'll have a clear coat, top coat on it, there's not much maintenance that will be required. If it starts looking dirty from pollen or something, we, of course, as we manage the property, we maintain it, we can pressure wash it as needed, or clean it as needed.
It's not very likely to be tagged with graffiti. Typically, it's like 5 to 7 years is a touch-up requirement in general for our other properties.
And y'all would be responsible for that?
We would, yes.
I want to go back again to the dumpsters? I mean, why can't it be like an illusion thing that dumpsters are painted so that it becomes part of, you know, the bouquet of flowers? So maybe
So
the
you're
artist
talking
can
about
make.
kind of trickling the mural down to the
Yeah,
silhouette
so,
on top of the mural?
so you have these two walls of the dumpsters. The artist can paint on this side and integrate it kind of into the flowers. So it doesn't look like a box. And then you can probably paint the fences to look like a nice fence, like a white fence, or, so it just looks like a flower pot. Can anyone imagine what I'm saying?
I know how much of a beating those doors
I know,
take in front
yeah.
of the dumpster. I
Yeah.
can't begin to
That,
imagine.
that would require a lot of maintenance.
Yeah,
Paint the
I
dumpsters.
know,
They do get
yeah.
abused.
And I don't know if there's a particular code for these areas that may not, this idea may not work, or who knows, but I understand traffic driving by would be intrigued by these flowers popping up out there. And as a spark of new. These malls, they need these things because Avalon and Alcyon, and they are attracting a lot of people.
Sure.
And these vendors are having a very hard time competing with this. And anything that will spark the idea of new, even though the shopping center is well maintained, and but it has these classy awnings there, and this, there's a disconnect. It has to be, okay, not only the distance from far away, the mid distance,
Right.
and the very close distance. There has to be connectivity to something, or there has to be a way to balance it. And I don't know. I like it. I like it. I love it. But if there's anything that you guys can explore there, yeah, I'll be. But yeah, thank you. It looks nice.
If I'm looking at the CVS building, there seems to be a lot of blank walls. And I'm curious why the mural isn't on that, because I'm sure that building is going to go through a refresh. I think it looks inconsistent with the current status of the building.
So you're proposing that the mural actually be placed on the CVS building? Gotcha.
With requirements for them to change, obviously, the facade or make it look modern.
Sure.
I mean, this looks period.
I'm sorry, it
Looks vintage
gotcha.
and not in a good way.
Commissioner Smail, did you?
Well, I was just, if we're ready, I was going to move that we, defer approval of this until, and ask you to come back with thinking about some of the suggestions that we've made.
Okay.
And maybe represent to us, like either incorporating, as Commissioner Foster said, or as Commissioner Barsky said, maybe moving it to another location or something that blends in. But we do like the
Yes.
design. I mean,
Sure.
the artist is very lovely.
Yes.
It's just not working
Okay.
quite right. So,
All right, so
how
we
do I
have to
say that?
vote on the motion to approve first.
No, I was making a motion to defer.
Well, we have a motion on the floor.
Oh, okay.
We have to address that
Okay,
first.
sorry.
So do we want to, it's been moved by Commissioner Foster and seconded by Commissioner, Barsky, that we approve the Activate Games mural at the terraces at Windward Parkway. I'll now call for a vote.
Well, we voted to amend based on the following.
Abstain.
Okay, so we are voting on deferring approval.
Yes.
Okay, so the company can bring some,
So we
right,
say
but
no.
don't,
on the
do we
first
not need to
and
vote
then
on
we
this one
do
first?
All right, so.
We need to vote on the motion to approve first, then we can all vote no, and then put a motion on the floor to defer. Okay. So if you're not for as is, vote no, please. Okay. The motion passes unanimously. So that motion motion is not approved. Is there a motion on the floor to defer?
Yes, I'll try. I move to defer approval of the active games mural at the terraces at Windward Parkway to the next regular meeting of the Cultural Arts Commission.
I second that motion.
Second. Okay, it has been moved by Commissioner Smeal and seconded by Commissioner Foster that we defer the Activate Games mural, the terraces at Windward Parkway, until the next regular meeting of the commission. Please vote. Okay, the motion has been approved. Thank you for your patience with our
Yes,
trying
thank you.
questions,
Oh,
and,
sure.
you know, let your creativity juices run wild, and let's see what we can do to just make it good for everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, Kim, when you're ready, staff presentations.
Hello. Good to see everyone. And I wanted to, why don't I start to walk you through, let me handle these first. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'll talk about that in just a moment, but this is going back a little bit, but we didn't have a meeting in March, so I wanted to share we just had a really good Black History Month. We have the exhibit is still up in the gallery for a few more days. If you haven't seen it, pop over there, take a look at it. We were on the front page of the paper for the exhibit where the gentleman in the middle here, Charles Grogan, was actually announced as the Alpharetta Bailey Johnson historian for the city. And so he had actually, if it wasn't for him, and we had another very large collection, we would not have had all of these photos, dates, names of people, all of the memories. I can't tell you how many times the Alpharetta Historical Society, Pat Miller, called Charles to ask him questions. And then if he didn't know, he would connect up with someone that did know. He knew who to call. And so we had our archives team, Marie Anderson. She actually worked so hard on this exhibit. Every photo had to be taken and repaired. Our team over here, Dave, I'm going to kind of point out, he worked on, there were a lot of, like where you have like a spot missing on an image. And so he went in, filled that in to make it look nice for the gallery show. And he also worked on all the images here. So we also had the Bailey Johnson historical marker. And this is on Citizen Soul building on the outside. That event, I don't know, both events were just very, very meaningful. We had the lady that's here is the granddaughter of Hard Bailey, who was the original blacksmith, who actually, he donated the land for Bailey Johnson High School. And so he partnered with Warren Jackson, who lived in Roswell. Warren did a lot of the political part of it to get Fulton County to do the school here. And then Hard created the space and gave the land. So she was great. I believe she was 92 and she looked like she was 72. She was really a lot of fun. So I wanted to brag on that for a little bit. We had a great time. If you haven't seen this yet, we had our local artist in an article. And it was, please kind of click on this link here when you get a chance. But we had 4 local artists that were highlighted. And it's a wonderful article. I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but if you can go back and take a look at it, please do. The Arts and Culture Master Plan, we took a look at it in March. I wanted to tell you thank you. The edits that you gave were extremely valuable. I went in, edited the entire document, gave it to the consultant. Kind of the timeline that we're working with is we want to take it to a council workshop, let them have an opportunity to give feedback. We'll put edits back into it. And before we do that, excuse me, I skipped a step. We'll bring it to you. You give us a thumbs up. It's ready to go to council. We'll take it to the council workshop and then give feedback, and then actually we'll take it back to them once we make changes for the final approval. I don't know exactly how it's going to time up month-wise, but I hope by the summer, sometime in the summer, we'll have it approved and we'll be good. Any questions on that? Spotlight. Guess what? We are done building it out.
It's gorgeous.
Yay! Yeah, it is a clap moment. It is beautiful. It's really beautiful. I'm not going to show you all the photos in here. Your packet, we had an open house for theater groups. We were trying to capture their season that starts in the fall, and we knew if we didn't do that, they were going to be looking at other locations.
How many theater groups are you talking about? Just curious.
We had 4 theater groups come out. So it's been interesting. We've been learning about different groups, some small, some larger. Our local theater group is Arcadia Theater, and we're so thankful because they're going to be doing the children's theater camp for us. So that's really going to activate the space. We'll be doing an event to open, and you'll be invited. We're getting all that together, so look for that over the probably next week. It'll either be May 14th or 15th. We're finalizing some of the entertainment. That's the reason why we don't have that date quite confirmed yet. If you look at the packet, it's got all the specs in there. It's got the application. We also added the application for the black box at the Alpharetta Art Center. And our thought on that is if we have theater groups coming in, maybe one group is rehearsing and the other group is doing their production, and then we kind of switch. So we're trying to get the use out of both facilities with groups. But it's exciting. So, any questions on? And if you would like to come out and take a look, call. I'd be happy to take all of you at the same time. We can meet out there and I can walk you through. I can take you separately, whatever's easiest. We can do it during lunch one day if you want. So please let me know. We have, for our Alpharetta Arts Center, classes and summer camps. Summer camps, I will tell you, is a time we take in a lot of revenue at the Arts Center. We are filled in our camps. It is busy. Parents line up, they drop their kids off. We have a whole carpool system, they're dropping off. It is a very busy place. Plus, we're doing our regular classes during that time frame. So it's great if you can, come out, take a look. I would love to show you around during that. Our staff, Zeal, and also Megan, they work very hard. The entire team does on the camp. So coming up, we also have at the Spotlight, we have another camp. It's an arts camp, and it's called Building Character. This is more about, like your confidence, you're building your character, feeling confident about acting. So that will be happening during this summer. Our public performance permit, we have actually been pushing that out. We've had 4 new permits recently. We think this will be a season.
That's crazy.
It'll be, I really find that we're seeing the warmer months. So it's probably going to run, your April, maybe past pollen season, if you want to call that a season, through October, maybe November, if November's warm. But we're starting to get an influx of those. I wanted you to know that. We have 33 music match performances coming up. You can always go to our live music calendar, and we'll have all the performances listed there. We have Jazz on the Green, and we already had that, and I wanted you to know about that because we put that up here. We're going to start doing some jazz concerts with the Alpharetta City Band on the front terrace at the Arts Center. They have a jazz. I think it varies the size of the group, but they're great. They're really good. The Unfinished Symphony is this Friday, and please, there's tickets online. You can go there and take a look, and I've got it actually on I try to put the links, I don't know if you noticed, but try to put the links on the staff report if you ever want to click on that for tickets. Plant sale. The Alpharetta Garden Club has a plant sale that they have done traditionally for years at the Mansell House, and that's on April 26th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. All About Pastels, we have this show right now, the exhibit at the Art Center, and that's our partnership where the Arts Alpharetta curates the show. And if you haven't been there, these works are beautiful. It's the Southeastern Pastel Society. Amazing work. I mean, some of the images, I mean, they look like images, photo images. So if you can stop by and take a look. Alpharetta Community Chorus. They have a performance on May 4th at the Alpharetta Presbyterian Church in the afternoon. And I believe this is a suggested donation, so you can scan the QR code. So it's not an official ticket, but if you can donate and pass the word around, that would be great. It is time for Paint the Town. This is a lead-in for Paint the Town. We're doing a workshop on May 5th, the day before the event begins. This is a 5-step landscape painting, and it's an all day, so it's pretty intensive, but this is a wonderful artist and a very good instructor. Paint the Town. So we have a May 6th through the 10th. This is sort of the lineup here. And they will have a artist welcome event on May 6th at Smoke Jack. He's donated their attic. I don't know if you've ever been in his attic, but he's donated that space to Arts Alpharetta for the artist welcoming event. And then they'll do a quick draw competition. If you don't know what that is, they have to paint in a very short period of time. I believe it's 3 hours, 2 hours? It's 2 hours. So correct me if I said something wrong. Then they'll do the quick draw awards, and that'll take place on the town green. So if you can pop out that day, even at 11:30, they'll put all the art on the easels. You'll walk around, and they'll do a competition and hand out ribbons to the artist. And you'll see this art. It's like 2 hours. You can't even believe these people can do art in 2 hours like that.
Kim, how many have signed up so far? Do you know?
Do you remember? Okay, so it's probably, I would say it's probably 35 or 40 at this point. The Artist Awards and exhibit reception is May 10th. Please come. All the art will be for sale, and the exhibit will stay up through the 7th.
Is the Art in the Dark a new segment? That's very cool.
It is. Metropolitan Ballet, their spring performance will be on the terrace at the Art Center on May 18th from 2 to 5 p.m. So bring a lawn chair, come out there. It's open to the public. The concert for Memorial Day, the band will be playing in the morning, and the symphony will be playing at night. They also have another event, the Alpharetta Symphony, on May 30th, and it's a ticketed event, and that is it. That's my report for the night. Any questions?
Any questions from the commissioners?
I just have a quick question. Can you send these presentations to us after the meeting?
Yeah, you have. Sure.
That would be nice, yeah,
Okay.
so that we could just have it in front of us.
Kind of refresh.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Any other questions for Kim? Okay, exciting stuff. Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you.
Good job, Kim.
All right, do the commissioners have any items to report? No? Is there anyone from the public that would like to come forward and speak? See a young man I don't recognize. No comment? You need to come up and speak into the microphone. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Vroom Ball. here as like a local Boy Scout troop, and I'm just here to fulfill my citizenship in the community mayor badge. And I was here to like just look over real quick. And as a part of the mayor badge, I have to ask like a couple questions if that's okay.
Absolutely.
So one of the questions was, how do you guys work to better the community in Alpharetta?
Okay, I'm going to defer. Who would like to answer this young man's?
Yeah.
How do you guys work to better the city of Alpharetta?
I have been involved with the city and the arts program for quite a few years here, and I think the role of the commission has been wonderful. As you can see what happened tonight, someone comes up with an idea, and it's a great idea, but it might need tweaking a little bit. So that's part of what we do, and we also encourage groups to come forward and share with us what's going on. Anyone want to add to that?
Gonzalez? Or?
Yes, it also gives visibility to all the new things that are going on in Alpharetta. So for example, like today they're opening a new theater, and they just came and told us about it, so we can help promote it or integrate it into our activities that we do here. So just to bring the public knowledge about everything that's going on in Alpharetta.
And then the second question was, what's the best part of being involved with the council?
We get things done. A lot of, this is a relatively new commission, and we had a big, broad vision, and over the last 3 years, we've gotten a lot of interesting cultural and art-related items brought to the city.
I'll add to that. It feels good to feel like you're contributing to your community by having some degree of quality control of how the arts roll out in the city, and then the ability to promote. I mean, there's more going on in this city, and we wouldn't know that if we didn't sit here every month at a commission meeting, and we're the first cheerleaders to go out into the community and spread the word.
Thank you so much. That's all I have.
And yeah, the other thing is that I'm the newest here, but we all have been involved with the arts in the community one way or the other, and this is a way to channel our passion for what we as a whole envision for the city. We want the public to be able to reach and enjoy these beautiful efforts that these different groups are putting with sweat and tears and sacrificing a lot for the community, only to get some applause, some recognition, but it's very passionate people that is involved in the arts usually, and I'm elated that I discovered this group, and also that is the effort of a lot of people that has been accumulating and coming, and all we're doing is just giving an extra push and to all that big effort that is growing and growing and growing, and hopefully it'll get us to a very special place.
Thank you guys for your time.
Beautifully put. I would challenge you too. I want to see you do an eagle. Okay? You keep going.
I forgot to say thank you to Laura, too. I said thank you to Dave's Designs, but I wanted to say thank you to you. These are both of our graphic designers that they work part-time, but they're really like full-time staff with us, and they do so much to make our division look great. When I'm up here and I'm cutting out things and putting them in my presentation, so I didn't mention your name, so I'm sorry. I want to say thank you.
Are y'all responsible for this lovely?
Beautiful.
All right. Morgan, you got anything for us this month? All right, then. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I second that motion.
Okay. It has been moved by Commissioner Barsky and seconded by Commissioner Foster that we adjourn the meeting. I will now call for a vote. Okay. The motion passes unanimously. The meeting has been adjourned at 6:59 PM. Thank you.
Thank you.
No overtime.
Me, I run a tight ship.
So not for official record, but remember the Taste of Alpharetta is May the 8th. Okay? And our first Home by Dark concerts is this Saturday night here at Brook Street Park. If you haven't been to one of the Home by Dark concerts, you really are missing something special.
Where are free tickets for Taste of Alpharetta?
This weekend. This weekend.
No free lunch.